Hey guys, it's Tattoo Baby with Hot Headed Radio, and I am interviewing Robert. He is the awesome artist of the art car, the Yellow Submarine. Hey Robert, how are you?
Well, I'm just doing just fine. I love being here. I love all the people, the participants, and the people that are at the show. I've never been to one of these. I hope to be going to do more. I know I'm in Decatur for the second round of this. I've been invited by Mr. Tate, who's invited me in my Yellow Submarine car to participate, and I'm so owed to joy to him for inviting me.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, we're at the Springfield Toy Comic Fest here in Springfield. We have many more that we'll be doing, and also these interviews. My next question is: do you plan to just, when you plan your designs on your car, do you just freehand it, or do you actually like plan it out?
Well, I usually find something related to it in our collection, my wife and I, Beatle collection, and I'll bring out magazines, album covers, and I'll sort of eyeball it, and then I'll start, painting it with acrylic paints. It's a work in progress. I've started this about 6 years ago. I think I'm pretty well got every corner available painted over. So it's won 12 trophies. This car has first place, second place, and third place. And it's an art car. So it's in its own special category when I do car shows.
Right. You said it also won an Oscar?
Yes, 2018, I won an Oscar for that screenplay right there. It's an RCCI Oscar, Red Carpet Corsair International Oscar. I was voted in, and I went to receive it. And I'm owed to joy that I've been in it as a writer, a screenwriter. Android is a great screenplay, obviously, because they selected me to give me an Oscar. So I'm owed to joy about it, and I want more and more. Once you get going, you want to not stop. That's me.
I want to do some show and tell. Do you got some cool stuff you can show us?
Yeah. Um, this is my book. You can buy this on Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Kindle. It's all over the place. I have a new publisher for it, and I'm very happy to say that he's reworking a lot of the mechanical side of it as my publisher on Amazon and Kindle. But you can still buy it over the counter at Barnes and Noble or other bookstores. So this is my book, and it's a progress of a lifetime ambitions of being involved with the Beatles. In my documentary, I brought one to show. One to show, and this is the 50th anniversary. I have the 40th anniversary and the 60th. The 60th just got released by Music Video Distributors out of Pennsylvania. Now, here's the good part. You can actually watch the 60th, the 2-hour version, on Hulu or YouTube TV by this title, A Beatle Inventing George Harrison. You can watch it for free. It's the 2-hour version, and there are some commercials in it. But if you want to see the latest on the George Harrison saving his sister's home, which I was the processor to get it started, finished, and completed, and made it into the Hard Day's Night Bed and Breakfast, which took a lot of politicians to join in. But I'll tell you, the Beatle fans came and helped my wife and I to save this home. George Harrison's sister, Louise, who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, stayed with us at our home. She even honored me and said, "Robert, you're my son now." I said, "What?" She goes, "You're my son. For all the things you did for the Harrison family and keeping history alive, I love you like my son." I started crying. I said, "Oh, Louise, oh no, Louise. No, Robert, you're such a good guy. For all the Beatle fans, for doing what you did, taking on the whole state of Illinois, the event, the whole thing it was an act of God, because I'll tell you why. For all the things the Beatles did for me when I was growing up, they saved my life. I was given the opportunity to do something for them, which was to save Louise's former home in Benton, Illinois. And now I'm working on the process of saving the history in Mount Vernon, Illinois, where George bought his guitar at Red Fenton's music store. And also, here's a good one, Ed Sullivan came a little bit later to start Sullivan Vision in Mount Vernon, Illinois. I'm waking these people up. I've been up there to Senator Terry Bryant and Representative Severance, both from the state of Illinois. They're all helping to get a historic marker placed there. And the cool thing is, George and Gabe went to a little drive-in up restaurant where the girls came out on roller skates. George had never seen car hops and girls on roller skates. He was like, "What is this? This is 1963. Oh my God!" And he also had a root beer at this root beer stand because you didn't have root beer in England. They didn't get root beer for years and years after '63. So what did he have? He had French fries and a hamburger and a root beer, icy root beer, at the Big Cup. I'll get it right. And so now the owner is working with me, Dan. He bought the property, and the new title is Frosty Big Cup Root Beer in Mount Vernon, Illinois. So I have that, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Joliet is behind this. I have the politicians, I have the people, I have the mayor, I have the tourism, and we're going to get another historic sign up there marking this historic event where George used it with the Beatles, took it on tour with the Beatles. It's a 425 Rickenbacker 6-string. Even John Lennon borrowed it on stage one time for his guitar string broke, and he grabbed the other one, which was George. Now, this is historic. Ed Sullivan came there. Now, this is the inside information. George and Louise had 2 Sundays in a row to watch the Ed Sullivan show there in Benton. Reception wasn't that good back then. You had TV antennas. You had to turn it just right to get the right reception. Well, anyway, long story short, when George and Louise met Ed Sullivan in February 7th of 1964, just a few months later, George said to Ed Sullivan, "You know, Ed, I tried to watch your show at my sister's home. It was a little fuzzy, a little wavy, but I'm just telling you, I did see it, and here we are. We're on it now. But I thought, well, maybe something could happen later on. I don't know. Reception could get better. By God, if Ed Sullivan didn't fly to Mount Vernon, Illinois, and picked up and started Ed Sullivan Vision so that people could have better TV reception, all based on George and Louise pitching to the man of CBS, hey, you need to do something, and he did. I have pictures of him at the high school, Ed Sullivan, meeting the kids on the basketball court, the politicians. I have some historic information from the Mount Vernon airport. They got a picture of him. I have loads and loads of information on this. It's going to be part of the very historic adventures of Mount Vernon, tagged into the Benton story, where George was just going from town to town to town. And he did go to the Garden of the Gods. Where else would this man go? He did the hula hoop with his sister Louise, and he'd never seen a hula hoop in his entire life. And Louise said they just hula hooped around the campfire. George was having a great time. Then, in El Dorado, Illinois, George picked up a guitar because Kenny Welch decided to sit out for a couple songs. They brought the skinny little kid from England, that was his nickname, by the way, and he got on the stage and he did Roll Over Beethoven and some other cool stuff, some country songs. And the people, as Louise said, they blew the big whistles and they stomped their feet and they pounded the tables. We want more, we want more. And one of the people said, with the right kind of handling, kid, you could go places. Oh my God. He was one of the Beatles then, and then when he came back, the mania just kicked in, and all the people saw him on Ed Sullivan's show going, that was a skinny little kid from England. My God, he's one of the Beatles. Oh my God. It was so big, so important, historically speaking. And it's continuing and continuing and continuing. And I had my car, my Yellow Submarine there 2 years ago when we did the George Harrison Fest for Ren Lake and George Harrison. My little Yellow Submarine got to lead the parade, and I had so much fun. Everybody meet and greet, and I got to be a judge for a talent show. And I was right on, spot on. Those people love me, and I definitely love them. And for all those who want to know the musical birthplace, WFRX was the very first record station. Marshall Roebuck Schaefer spun From Me to You on that radio station. George came there with their sister Louise. They hitchhiked with Peter to the radio station. Louise says, "You Americans, you don't know what it's like to walk. That's all we do in England. We've been bombed out. We don't have this. We don't have that. So we walk. We walked to the radio station. We came in there. George sat down and did a wonderful interview with Marcia Schaefer Roebuck. And that became the musical birthplace of the Beatles in radio terms in America. And so the history is there. The guitar is there. The Garden of the Gods is there. El Dorado, where George picked up the guitar and did 2 or 3 songs. Then he went to the Bocce Ball Club in Benton, and he sang Happy Birthday to a sweet little 16-year-old girl on his guitar. Now, I just want to add this. So Gabe and George, I have to get my story right here. When they left the Fenton Music Store, George bought this guitar for $400. It's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Guess how much it's worth? Over $1 million now. What an investment, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, when they went to the big Frosty Cup restaurant, what's the new title? George pulled out the guitar, and he's strumming the guitar as the girls are rolling around on their roller skates, and they're going, "Oh my God, who's that guy? He's got long hair. What's he about?" And then George just played his guitar inside the car, Gabe's station wagon. And one of the funny things about it, George says, "Where's the boot?" And Gabe said, "There is no boot. It's a station wagon. We don't have boots in the station wagon." "Well, how am I supposed to load the guitar in there?" "Well, just put it in the back seat. There is no boot in the station wagon." So George was just getting used to Americana. And I tell you what, one of the fascinating things was I was at Beatle Fest, which I'm there about every year as a guest, so forth and so on. I met one of the Beatle handlers there. And I said, "What did George say when he came back from Benton?" He says, "Well, he took his arms and spread them apart. Like, this is what George said the interstate was working on, was this long. And when he left, it was that long." And he says, I said, "Oh my God, that's George was there when they were working on I-57. And here's the kicker of all. George's statue or figurine is on I-57 as you enter Benton. So George not only perceived 57, but if he was alive, he would see the figure of him strumming a Rickenbacker guitar. And so it's a very cool, fab story. I have a Beatles museum. My wife and I, we have a Beatles collection. We're just fabbed out to the point of we can't get any more fabber because we love the Beatles. We live for the Beatles. We are, well, not historically the fifth Beatle, but people have said that to me. I said, no. I'm just a Beatle fan like everybody else. But I'm a participant. I get involved. I drive a Yellow Submarine art car. I can't go anywhere in this car without people waving, beeping the horn, taking pictures. It is what it is. It's about peace and love. And I would say join in, become a bigger fan than me if you can, because we need more fans all the time. Thank you.
I think that I just met the biggest fan of the Beatles, and this is Tattoo Baby from Hot Headed Radio. Thank you so much. You are adorable, and I appreciate you.
Yes.